Welcome to the KR Queen channel, where I evaluate complex questions and present the results to you as though to a jury. Hey everyone, my name is Corey Queen. I'm an attorney in Seattle, Washington, and before law school, I was a campus minister at the University of Tennessee. And a couple of days ago, the ABA, that's the American Bar Association, filed a lawsuit against the entire Trump administration. This is the ABA that is the voice of the legal community in the United States. The basis of their lawsuit was that Trump has been issuing executive orders that target specific lawyers and law offices that he doesn't agree with. Now, legally speaking, this is a no-brainer. The executive branch is simply not allowed to go after political opponents simply because they're opponents. It's a clear violation of the Constitution, a violation of the First Amendment. But it does raise an interesting question. Why is Trump going after the lawyers? It reminds me of King Henry VI. There's this uprising. They're trying to upend the government. And one of the insurgents says, the first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers.
The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers.
Why are people coming after us? Well, lawyers are officers of the court. They are experts in evidence and in the law. And the entire legal and justice system is built on the idea that anyone can bring their case before the bar. They can have a lawyer advocate for them and marshal the law and the evidence in their favor. And then a judge or jury can impartially decide the case on the merits. Now, let's say you had a more Nietzsche-style morality. Let's say that you wanted to replace the system of morality and justice and fairness. You wanted to replace that with something that's just power-based. Might makes right. Well, one of the first things that you would want to do is intimidate or suppress all the lawyers on the other side. So I am proud of the ABA and of all of the lawyers and judges and law offices that have refuse to be cowed by these intimidation tactics. And I think it's a really good example for some of the folks who've been coming to me recently and they've been asking, what can I do to make a difference? Because of course there are so many things going on right now in our society as a whole, and it is difficult to know what exactly to do about it. You know, I wrestled with this question a while back in 2022 when Russia first invaded Ukraine, and I'm going to work, I'm coming home, and I'm seeing all of these horrible things that are happening all around the world. In fact, I wrote an article in the Seattle Times just working through that challenge, and here we are a few years later, and I'm getting that question from so many people. How can I make a difference in this world that seems to be falling apart all around the globe? So today I would just offer two principles. And the first one is a term coined by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's called Northern Courage. And all it means is that you do the right thing simply because it's the right thing, even if you can't tell what the outcome's going to be. The whole idea is that you are not being pragmatic. You're not saying, I'm going to do the right thing only if it will accomplish some greater good. It's not utilitarian. It's saying, I will do the right thing simply because it's right. And then I will entrust the outcome to a higher power. So it is an innately faith-based idea. And that's what a lot of people have been doing as they've been standing up to these enormous powers. They don't know exactly what's going to happen, but they do know what's right. And so they do it anyway. The second principle is to embrace your smallness. What I mean by that is that part of the driving force behind a question like this is the enormity of the problem. We can open our phone, we can open our computer and see a big, huge problem that is too big for any single person to correct. But if we shut the phone off, shut the computer down, and we just look around us, the people that are right in front of us, those are our neighbors. Those are the people that we have the power right here, right now to help. There's a distinction in the Bible that is really important here. The distinction between loving our neighbors as ourselves and loving the world. It says that God loves the world, but we are not commanded to love the world. We are commanded to love our neighbors. And I think the reason for that distinction is that we are not all powerful. We're not all knowing. We're not big enough to love the entire world. And if we try to have this sort of high philosophical love for the whole world, it's very easy for us to bypass the neighbor who is right in front of us. This is the whole basis of the Good Samaritan parable that Jesus told. He tells the story of this person who is beaten and left for dead on the side of the road, and two religious leaders who have this very high philosophical love, no doubt, just go walk right by the person and leave him bleeding on the road. Whereas a Samaritan comes by, goes out of his way to help the person, and he's the one being the good neighbor. So the whole idea is that being a good neighbor, loving your neighbor as yourself, looks like what the Good Samaritan did, going out of your way to help the person that's right there in your path. One of the ideas here is that the people in our path, the people that are right in front of us, God chose them for us. That's our family. That's our actual literal neighbors. That's the people that we cross in the street. We didn't choose those people. They just happened to be the people in our path. God in his sovereignty chose to put them in our path. And one of the ways that we can trust God and follow him is by loving those neighbors that he's put right there in front of us. For every individual, this is going to look just a little bit different. You have to take stock of your talents and your circumstances and the people around you and decide what it looks like to love your neighbor as yourself. For me, I have my wife, my kids, I have my clients, I have the organizations that I'm involved in, my church, and also the Washington State Association for Justice. I do a lot of work for them. The point is that we have these circles that we run in, the people that are right in front of us that we can love and serve and do some good for right here, right now. And that really is the answer. The answer is northern courage, doing what's right simply because it's right and entrusting the outcome to a higher power. The answer is to embrace your smallness and do what good you can right here, right now, for the people right in front of you, loving your neighbor as yourself. The reason this ABA lawsuit is a good example of these principles in action is that no one person or even organization is going to fix the problem. The problem really is too big. The ABA certainly isn't going to take down the Trump administration with this lawsuit, but it will do some good. They are going to win. And every human rights movement in the history of the world has been built on countless individual instances of putting courageous love into action. So God bless you as you find opportunities to love your neighbor as yourself, even if it requires courage to do so. I'll see you next time.